Picture this. It's early 2010 and I'm online browsing for new games coming out for the Nintendo Wii. And okay, come on, work with me here. You were in high school at the time. You didn't have a smartphone. Yeah, now that's more like it. So anyway, I recognized the name of a new epic Capcom game about hunting giant monsters and decided to check it out. What, you think you're gonna watch a video on that Nokia brick? Use a computer. Anyway, what I found wasn't some flashy cinematic trailer or anything. No, what I watched was a full hunt from start to finish with no commentary. A single hunter, armed with a huge sword and raggedy duds, runs off into the colorful world where strange creatures graze in pastures and fly through the sky. Instead of music, we only hear the sound of the ecosystem breathing in and out in suspense until a massive crocodilian sea monster suddenly appears and the music just booms into this incredible dynamic heart-pounding blast, matching the powerful back and forth of this massive sea titan and the small hunter just trading blows with each other. I suddenly realized this video is a whopping 30 minutes long. So, I kind of skim ahead in just amazement of how raw and accurately this game is capturing this ferocity of a wild beast defending its territory against an early cave human hell-bent on driving it away. The monster retreats into the sea, but the tenacious hunter dives in after it anyway. He drives the beast deep underwater and back into its hidden subterranean cave for a final battle. Both sides are on their last legs, desperate to survive, and BAM! With a mighty final blow, the beast lets out one final bellow and collapses, allowing that hunter to finally start carving off some valuable prizes of hides and claws to forge new gear and prove his valor. No marketing, no trailer, no nonsense. That is what sold me on Monster Hunter. Yeah! Bummer I just barely missed out on this really cool pre-order bonuses like a Lagiacra's fossil figure. No! We kinda just covered this, didn't we? We is exactly what we didn't cover. This took some getting used to. Okay, hold up. We're reviewing the massive high-end G-Rank expansion to the Wii game ported to 3DS, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. The closest thing to normal controls of this poor series ever got up until then. We went from analog flicking to carpal tunneling to Wii whacking. Sounds a lot like— Don't finish that sentence. Alright, you should know the gist by now. Hunt monsters to craft gear to hunt more monsters. Boom, done. Until you unlock high rank and on, where you just hunt the same recycled monsters again and again for dozens of hours after the credits have already rolled, slowly getting drip-fed new content, reinforcing the drive to keep going and forget all about how much you just got shafted out of actual post-game content. Yeah, it never made sense to me that some identical monsters we already fought might be high or G rank, basically making them visually identical but substantially stronger than the rest of their kind. It's immersion-breaking video gamey balancing at best, and lazy recycled content the rest of the time. But at least a good amount of those clones had different elements or ailment attacks to set them apart. So about that Wii. Honestly, I don't dislike the controls. Sure, there was a learning curve, especially while underwater, but the dynamic big screen gameplay sold the effect so well it didn't ever faze me that I was playing with a corn dog. Greatsword and Switch Axe, one of the new weapons, actually felt really heavy with motion control attacks. Granted, I was coming right off of No More Heroes, so this was incredibly tame by comparison. Being Monster Hunter 3, most everything was brought back and improved from 1 and 2. Plus, we got a lot of new stuff like the Argosy, a traveling trader ship that lets you barter for goods like souvenirs you could display in your house. You could also venture out into the local hunting grounds for fun and not just for a quest. Scouters would even give you forecasts warning you of rare ores, migrating fish, or particularly powerful beasts passing through the area, making it an incredibly rewarding and less stressful way to play. You could also enslave up to 3 Palico companions and force them into indefinite indentured servitude, farming goodies like herbs and honey to keep you well stocked for the hunts ahead. You can even rename the cat slaves to further rob them of their identity by using a preset list of names to choose from, and fans of my monster hunting exploits will certainly recognize the name that I gave all 3 of my feline forced laborers: Pepe. And for those of you not familiar, what's stopping you? Kim and I even did a co-op series showcasing all of the exclusive monsters that you should totally go watch, shameless plug. Shut up, Pepe, get back to work! Wait, what was that you just said about exclusive monsters? Not enough! Here's how I feel about all of them. Small monsters. Ludicrously sized insects whose absurd exoskeleton size is the least of your concerns. These little instigators spit defense down acid if you have the audacity of existing near their colonies. But not the giant trampling monsters. They're cool. You gotta die. Anesthesia spitting date rapist raptors. Totally not a Vespoid, but just as tenacious. Basically sand dolphins. And not the cute ocean kind, I'm talking the ugly river dolphins with teeth like a vampire crack addict. Non-violent Lapras-like creatures. Whenever I kill one, I feel the crushing guilt of putting a baby giraffe in a guillotine. It's awful and sad, but also morbidly hilarious. Behold the most creative and powerful monster in the franchise. Fish. You can't kill fish by any means unless you impale it with a harpoon, which breaks upon use. Fear fish! Skittish dodo poop chickens. Newly hatched blood-sucking leech babies. Velociprey, but with more realistic prehistoric anatomy. And the females are basically that, but with more chonk. Dangerously sized water lizards hunting in packs like wolves. Yikes! Defensive lineman Bullfango gunning straight towards you no matter the circumstance to increase his stats with the sacks. Walking meals that probably taste like a wet tire. Rock burrowing lava gators. It's time to move when you upset the rock burrowing lava gators. Iaprey, but a little more Jurassic and fantastically designed. They still suck. Large monsters. Remember the lava gators? Well, this one's the size of a house. And it turns out they'll follow you to the ends of the earth, even conquering water and ice blight. Kiss your stamina goodbye and prepare for a bad time. Big cuddly boy who doesn't want to eat you, just that honey you're pocketing for mega potion crafting. One fast, mean, flying saber-toothed tiger, who can barf ice tornadoes, by the way, and apparently migrates to the other kind of desert, barfing real tornadoes. Bulldozer Shovelface, whose special ability is completely submerging himself in knee-high mud. And now he wants to build a snowman from your corpse. Flu-ridden Captain Boom Boom Boogerfist, whose obnoxiously dim-witted anti-vax mentality is ready to take you down with him. Josephine the Pickle T-Rex with teeth growing out of her teeth and it got angrier. No kidding, these two's tenacity for spontaneous invasion and terrifying game-changing ruthless battle styles and music just cements them as my favorite monsters in the series. You thought you've seen it all until the literal mountainside stands up and tries to kill you. We replaced that 10-ton mace of a tail with a double-sided battle axe just for some funsies. How that doesn't one-shot kill any hunter baffles me. Speaking of double-sided, this hideous globular leech wyvern will have you all kinds of turned around as it swaps its head and tail sides, so you'll never know if you're about to get eaten or become the proud parent of a pile of baby leech eggs. Was that leech poison bothering you? Well, try paralysis as you helplessly convulse on the floor. This nightmare and its brood will drain you for all you're worth. The most amazingly terrifying angler river monster we will never see again because the devs at Capcom are cowards and won't bring back water fighting. All they did was make Velocitron more realistic, and I'm suddenly extremely intimidated by this baby's first large monster. No kidding, he really scared me the first time and even defeated me once or twice before I got the hang of the controls. Spits in your face and knocks you out to have his way with you more than the average NFL quarterback. Gotta love a nation that idolizes criminal rapists. Wait, what are we talking about again? Yeah, I know, it's a glorified reskin, but man, do I love this design with the frills and inflatable poison sack. I could totally believe this thing existing in real life. Another personal favorite design, just bordering on the line of believable and outrageous kaiju level mythological beast, with a variant that fights and nests on dry land, making him tremendously easier. And sadly, this is how all iterations of poor Loggy will be from now on, because once again, the devs are cowards. An Elder Dragon tier deep sea catastrophe so strong it's only face at the very bottom of the ocean caverns. Once again, gone forever because cowards. The absolute worst abominable snow bunny on a list of one. That's right, you're so horrible, you come in last when you're the only participant, you big stupid pinball belly flopper, who's made of a sponge that's as angry as me, Royal Ludroth, and has a sick cousin who drills venomously, Purple Ludroth. Local malnourished Nargacuga passes for a new subspecies without any uniqueness whatsoever other than green! And now he's becoming so forgotten he's straight up invisible. Well, sorta. He has these glowing eye trails that are really easy to follow, but your doofus hunter can't lock onto them because they're all like, where'd that little guy go? Remember the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars? Well, this one can jump out at you and chase you down for not being a good little gummy bear and hopping right in his massive maw. One of the best ideas for an early game specimen who imitates the cries of larger monsters to attract them and flee the hunters. Why this flint-bashing bird brain hasn't reappeared lately is beyond me. Oh, so now he can make sparks with his wing talons and roar you to sleep? Hold on, you wanna run that by me again? Jay Leno with tire treads made of stone on his back so he can roll around the room like a giant wheel until he passes out, but doesn't understand why you won't film him for his Insta. And his cousin has a chin bigger than Dream, and his fumes stink just as much as his fan base. See, I can be relevant! Okay, we saw how big the ants were, so how come this anteater isn't the size of Godzilla to compensate? An amazing mythical fanged beast creating his own monster class, making his fight challenging and unique until later games will milk it till the cows turn to dried parmesan and lard. Ooh, and this one is evil with that purpley black dragonblight stuff that doesn't exactly make any sense, but we all just kind of roll with it anyway. A mighty traditional black dragon commanding power over all of the elements at once in a chaotically unstable, fearsome battle. Oh, well, except water. I mean, he doesn't really like baths. A gargantuan bearded Viking whale so huge he gets several areas created specifically for him to swim through before he even realizes that a pesky little human has been buzzing around his head. A fully grown Cedius, now fully blind from its massive horns eclipsing its beady eyes. How a single human is able to swim down to these dizzying depths and fell this sea titan is beyond my understanding. Guess death by 1,000 cuts really works. Commodore Sand Whale with natural tusk spears to harpoon ships chasing after it for some cruel, ironic impalement. Oh, and since it was so big, his fight was completely predictable and scripted, so they made this insane variant to throw you off like Mario Kart Mirror Mode. Meet the one true king of sea and land. This fearsome volcano dragon storms the beach from the coast like Godzilla as flaming comets literally rain down all around you as they spew from its shoulders. Absolutely my favorite Elder Dragon ever, who we will never see again because cowards. Speaking of graphics, shouldn't we also mention the graphically superior Wii U version of the game? No, less people bought into that than Google Stadia, but at least they got their money back. Ouch, so relevant, it hurts. You know how all the other Monster Hunter stories suck? Yes! They never really got it right and they still struggle to this day. Well, honestly, this might be the only time that they really nailed it. Story in a game like Monster Hunter doesn't need to be deep. It doesn't even need great characters. But what it does need is immersion and a clear directive where severe consequences are there if you fail. You begin as a hunter sent to the fearful inhabitants of Moga Village who requested help after the onset of powerful tremors rocking the very foundation of their floating oceanic home. So you work with the chief and the inhabitants of Moga Village, fulfilling local quests and ready yourself for what they believe to be the cause of these natural disasters, the newly appeared Lagiacris. You already feel the fear and uncertainty from this small fishing village, and when you finally slay the sea wyvern and the earthquakes continue, you not only share in their terror and uncertainty, but you know you're in for a truly powerful battle in order to save Moga. And that's how it ends in the base game. But in 3U, that's only the beginning of the story, which is stretched out for as long as possible. I mean, that initial low-rank arc is still there, but the rest of it all just feels hokey and tacked on to justify the piles and piles of quests they're about to throw at you. Hey, I still get to start out as the local guy scared to fight wild raptors to single-handedly felling a sea god, so I'm happy. You're just happy that instead of a feline companion, you get Cha-Cha, the charismatic and pompous shakalaka. Here, darn tootin'. Shut up, Pepe! Get back to the fields! Oh, this soundtrack is so good. I absolutely adore the Deserted Island theme in particular. It's probably my favorite track from the entire series. I'm a big fan of the monster exclusive themes like Brachydios, Zinogre, and Deviljho, where their music will actually overwrite the current one being played if they surprise you and crash the party uninvited. Even Moga Village's background music just makes me want to lay back and yeah, maybe for you, but relaxing for me is a complete waste of time. Life's too short to rest. This backlog isn't gonna play itself! Okay, honestly, if you want to dip your toe into Monster Hunter without the hundreds of hours of time investment, the Wii's Monster Hunter Tri is absolutely the best place to start with a comfortable length and well-balanced monster hunts pacing the journey to the end credits. But underwater fighting does kind of suck, as much as I want Capcom to bring it back and fix it. Oh, it's not that bad. If anything, why would you be able to fight underwater anyway? Those sea monsters should eat you alive once you decide to dive into their turf. Like all the Sony fanboys after I told them that the 3DS has vastly superior controls than the PSP ever did for Monster Hunter. The positive gamer in me had a blast with Are we reviewing these two as one? Sure, whatever. Cool. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate with a well done 9 out of 10. Aside from a few quests here and there, this game's single and multiplayer experience still holds up well over a decade later. The critical gamer in me finds Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate to be a self-awakening that the series needed, with a 7 out of 10. And though it has some flaws, I still greatly appreciate the game for what it is, and for all of the bold experimentation it brought to the series. But what do you think? Tell us how your positive and critical sides rate Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate in the comments below. But I mean, come on, if you're knocking this game for its underwater combat before you even legitimately gave it a try, you're just playing with yourself. I'm finally reviewing Monster Hunter Tri. I can't believe it's taken me so long to get to this point. It's my first Monster Hunter game that I ever played, and it's the last one that I'm reviewing of the ones that I've played, so that's just weird. Also, for funsies, this painting was actually made by Kim for me like in 2010 or something like that, so thank Kim in the comments for this awesome artwork we get to show in the background. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate your own episode. And thank you to all of our Patreon members who keep this going, by the way. You can support the channel with just $1 a month, please. It helps us tremendously. Atomic Thomas, Arrow, and Sid. See you.